occupying a body. The body dies. No, the soul goes on, and your ultimate goal needs to be to get back. But I do believe in reincarnation too. I think that there's plenty of evidence of it. All right, Travis from A Plain Truth. What up, my buddy? How are you?
Hey, how's it going, Jaron?
Long time no talk. How you been?
Yeah, it's been a while. So I basically typed out something that's about 2 minutes long, if you want to let me go through that.
Sure. Ready?
All right.
Go.
To determine whether Yahweh is worthy of worship, first we have to establish what the Bible is about. Second, we have to establish whether the Bible is even applicable to us today. Who told you that Genesis 1 is about the creation of the entire universe? Not Genesis 1, I'll tell you that. There's only one way to evaluate the text of the Bible, and that is internal evidence. No one, not one of us here in this show has had an original thought about the Bible precisely because anything we quote unquote know about the Bible has been indoctrinated to us by another person. Not one of us has ever read the Bible with an original thought, nor without any external influence about the meaning of the text. Does anyone here have an original thought about the Bible? Please present your claim. What then shall we do with that claim? We shall do the only thing we can do, and that is use the only evidence available to us, the text. What do you say the text says? Let's look at it together and reason together. So, for instance, what does the text tell us? It tells us that a talking snake spoke to Eve. Do snakes talk? Did snakes ever talk? Will snakes ever talk? Does the Bible ever refer to deceitful men as snakes? Yes, it does. So is it plausible then to use the Bible's own syntax and grammar to inform us about its meaning? Yes, most definitely. So what is it you say about the Bible again? Can you prove it from the Bible? You see, the Bible isn't at the mercy of ignorant idiots who can't read. Rather, ignorant idiots are at the Bible's mercy when it comes to understanding what the Bible means by what it says. There is a difference between what the Bible, quote unquote, says and what it means by what it says.
The Bible is ruled by the language of symbol. There is one language to rule them all, one language to guide them, one language to reveal them all, and in the light unbind them.
So whose job is that then? Just to take man's word for it, whatever the man wants to believe it says?
So think about it this way, Jaron. The same way that we evaluate the physical world. So you can say, hey, I think that's curvature over there that's blocking the bottom of the boat. And I say, oh, really? I think it's refraction. I think it's the condition of the medium. So how are we going to determine who's right? Your interpretation is one, my interpretation is two. So you have an interpretation of the Bible, I have an interpretation of the Bible. How are we going to settle the matter?
You tell me.
The Bible. We have to determine the Bible, what the Bible is telling us. So that's why I referred to Psalm 140. Psalm 140 is a psalm of David where he cries out to God to deliver him from evil men who speak to him with dripping tongues of poison like snakes.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? Those are false prophets. So when the Bible tells you a story about a snake coming and speaking to a woman, snakes don't talk. We all know that.
Okay.
So could the Bible possibly be using a metaphor? Possible. It's possible. Okay, yeah, it's possible.
But there was nobody.
So
why was there other people there?
Because it's not a literal story, Jaron.
Okay, well I know that.
What?
I said I know that.
Well, right. Well, then there's
but,
no.
You know, most Christians believe it. Most Christians believe that's a real story.
Listen, bro. Listen, I was a Christian for 40 years.
Mm-hmm.
I had to study myself out of a master's degree.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so my point is, your question about how were there other people there is a non sequitur. The reason why your question doesn't follow is because the story's not literal.
Okay.
If you're a Christian and you think the story's literal, then you are absolutely going to say, well, how did that other...
Okay, got you. But if you're deciding whether or not snakes can talk, then you're taking the story literal.
Well, I'm just trying to say as much as I can in 2 minutes. You know what I mean?
Well, 2 minutes is long gone, but go ahead. Give you another minute.
Well, no, I'm just saying that.
So tell me your
the
position on it then. Just tell me, rather than dance around, just tell me what your position is on it.
My position, right? It's so difficult not to say what I want you to think, right? But if I'm going to be a responsible teacher, I'm going to say, what do you think the text is saying? And then how can you justify that? So I can justify why I think the snake in Genesis 3 is an allegory.
Okay.
And I can use the Bible in other places to establish that point. Now, the only way you're going to be able to refute me is to tear down my argument. And that would mean that you would have to go to those other passages that I used to show the internal consistency of the Bible. So when John the Baptist is baptizing in the Jordan in the New Testament, and the leaders of the church come to him, the leaders of the synagogue come to him, do you know what he calls them?
What he calls them?
He calls them snake. He calls them snakes.
Oh, gotcha. Yes.
Right? So the Bible itself refers to those who are false teachers as snakes. So it's no difficulty for me to then say, is it possible that we have a story about a false teacher coming to God's people and trying to mislead them?
Okay.
That's all. So, okay.
Right.
Is Yahweh supposed to be worshipped? Okay. First of all, what is the Bible about? And is it applicable to us? That's the argument. You have to establish whether or not the Bible is even applicable to us today. And how are you going to do that? You're going to do that based on things that you think the Bible said. And you defend that position. I don't think it's sustainable.
No,
after 40 years of being a Christian.
I don't think so either. All right, I'm going to let you go. Let's got another one.
Thanks,
Thanks
man.
for the call. Let's go with Sue.